Welcome to Real Police Talk and part one of this interview. Recently we caught up with Steve. He served 25 years with the police through the 70s and 80s. He talks about the area he served, which is on the Staffordshire Police area. Let's hear what Steve had to say about his service. Please feel free to like, follow and subscribe to the following platforms. Warning: this video is rated 18 and contains language that may offend. Thanks for coming to see me today, mate. Really appreciate it. I know that we're neighbours and we've put the world to rights a few times with regards to policing and things. So I'm just interested with obviously your history of policing and when you policed, more importantly, how different it was from today.
Yeah.
So when did you join? How did you join?
I joined as a police cadet at the beginning of 1970. Basically, I packed in one job, I was doing another job to buy time, and my next door neighbour was a control room PC in Burton.
Okay.
And he said, "Have you ever thought about joining?" And I said, "No," and so he got me some leaflets and stuff, and he obviously put a word in because not long after I was accepted.
Okay. So what did you have to do to get accepted? Did you have interviews and things?
Oh, you had interviews, you had to do a lot of the same as if you joined the regulars. You had to do the questionnaires, who's the Prime Minister, and...
Really?
Oh yeah, you go through like, all the exams and everything, and they came out to your home to look where you lived and how you lived, and...
Oh, okay.
And spoke to my mum and dad and things like that, yeah.
And how old was you then?
17.
17. Wow. So how long did you have to do in the cadets before you...
It was an automatic roll-on, basically. You had to fill the paperwork in and everything, but I can't even remember whether I had to do the exams again. I don't think I did. It was just when you reached 19, they sent you off to training school at Ryton.
Straight in?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because you've done it, it's virtually the same to get in the cadets.
Yeah.
And they assess you all the time, obviously, while you're in the cadets.
Yeah.
Outward bound and...
Is it like the sort of thing you did?
Oh yeah, you had to go on 2-week outward bound in Leek.
Oh right, okay.
The outback, you know, the moors, sleeping with something over your head to stop the earwigs crawling in while you were sleeping on an old farm floor. Yeah, and you did a week at Stafford Hospital in the A&E, helping out in the evenings.
No way.
Oh yeah. No, it was really good, and it was really, they put you through it to see how you were coping and what you would do and things like that. I mean, some of my mates even did driving courses while they were in the cadets. Because they joined, if you joined at 16, obviously you were in for 3 years.
Yeah.
Well, I was only in for 19 months.
So they took that off your total time in the police if you joined the cadets?
No, they didn't then.
Right.
Because you hadn't got a warrant card and you weren't sworn in.
Okay.
It's only when you're sworn in that you do active service.
Okay.
I believe there was a time when you could buy cadet service back, but at that time I just got married and house and things, so you don't have the spare cash to buy back.
No. I get that, but I spoke to a lot of people that come through the cadets when they were established. I think a few forces still do the cadets, but not in that sort of not in that sort of, you know, involvement to do with the community.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, you went out with a PC, walking in a car. I did time in the control room. I've got a good selection of badges because I spent a week stripping hundreds of old uniforms that were in the loft.
Really?
Yeah. I just happened to be on attachment to I can't even remember what department it was. The general office, the general running of the station and everything.
Yeah.
And he said, you've got about 20 years worth of uniforms up in the loft. You've got to strip off all the buttons, all the metal bits, take all the numbers out, the old screw-in numbers, individual ones. I got quite a selection. I've got Stoke-on-Trent badges, I've got Staff County badges, and because they were all going to be binned.
Yeah.
The badges, the uniforms, I think they were going to try and save some of the cloth and send abroad, but so I've still got some of those. I mean, I've got a police reserve for George Rain badge.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
You know,
Oh my God, yeah.
And stuff like that.
That's brilliant. No, I had no idea that's how the cadets work then.
Oh, you did the training, I can't remember, a month or 2 months, at Stafford.
Yeah.
In the classroom and going through everything, and like you do when you join.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same to start with.
Okay. So obviously when you finished your time with the cadets and you transferred over you got your warrant card, you got sworn in.
Yeah.
Where was you sent then? What was your first post?
Tamworth.
Was it?
It was. I'd been to Tamworth twice in my life before I got posted here.
Yeah. Okay.
And I hadn't got any transport at the time.
So where was you from originally?
Well, my dad was a Bevan boy up in the northeast.
Yeah.
We moved to Burton, well, Ralston on Dove, which is part of Burton, when I was 10.
Right.
So that's why I did my cadets at Burton, because that's where I lived.
Fantastic. So you're posted to Tamworth. Do you remember anything about your first day at all?
Yeah, I was picked up by a PC in the car and taken, and had the normal meeting with the newly appointed Chief Inspector, who went on to be Assistant Chief Constable.
Right.
Yeah, and that was a time when there was one Chief Inspector, one Inspector, and 4 sergeants, and that was it, at the old Tamworth Police Station in Church.
Right, okay. That's covering a large borough, isn't it? Basically, Tamworth was a large borough.
That was at the time when they were expanding big time.
Yeah.
One of my first jobs ever was with the flying pickets on the building sites. They were building Glasgow Heath, and the builders had come out on strike, and they were going around picking in different areas.
Yeah.
And so I had all of Glasgow Heath to walk around waiting for the pickets to arrive. I can remember the comment from the sergeant when he sent me. He said, "At least you look big." Because obviously with flying pickets, he says, some of the ones baby-faced, but at least you look.
Yeah.
I'll look the part.
So Glasgow Heath was a large council estate, wasn't it? Built in the 70s.
Yeah, it was 1972 you're talking about, the back end of 72, and they were still building it.
Yeah.
I think Belgrave had been finished, I might be wrong, but they were building Glasgow Heath. Lakeside certainly wasn't there, hadn't been built, nothing there at all. And it was just a question of building, and I remember my first digs were with a prison officer from Swinford and his wife on Glasgow Heath, because the prison service had bought 4 houses.
Really?
Oh, and they were rent for the prison service.
Okay.
And so I spent a year there, and then the prison service decided they weren't going to carry on doing that. So I went down to Faithful Road Estate,
Right.
which is not long after all of the floods had hit Faithful Road, before the flood bank was there.
Yeah.
So I've seen all the pictures of the flooding and everything, and I went with a lovely old couple, Mr. and Mrs. Williams, there, and I was there until I got married.
Was that normal for that to happen? Because like people were putting police houses and things like that. So you were basically...
No, you found your own... They found your first digs.
Yeah.
Which was fine.
Yeah.
And when I knew I was coming out, I obviously asked some of the bobbies. Well, 2 of them had been in digs with this couple before.
Right.
at different times, and they both spoke highly of him. And I went down, and in fairness, they were both well into the 70s when I went. And
Really?
they said, well, we said we wouldn't have anybody else, but if you would like to come, they'd take me. So I was there for 3 years.
Oh, lovely. That's a right eye opener, because people don't realise that sort of stuff used to happen. Me especially, you know.
Yeah. I had to sort out how much I was paying them and everything. That was left to me.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. So I've got to ask, what car was it you got picked up in on your first day? If you can remember.
a Morris.
Morris.
Morris Minor.
Was it?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a Minor. It was definitely a Morris, but it was the one with the boot, not the slopey back one. It was definitely got a boot.
Yeah.
And the reason I remember was not long after they started having Ford Escorts.
Yeah, Mark ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't really say it, but they decided to see which was the fastest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from the garage down Faisley Road to Mile Oak Lights, both sides of the road, at about 3 in the morning, they decided to have a race. But they had to have a PC. They had to have a PC standing with a torch, because they hadn't got radios in those days like that you could talk over, because everybody would hear. Because of the humpback bridge in the middle, and we were using both sides of it. And then they had to turn around and come back to make sure it wasn't, the distance was right. But yeah, he used to do daft things like that.
So they basically chose the car on the speed after having a race with them, and then just ordered to go with it.
No, we were just seeing which was the better car.
No,
They'd stopped having. They'd obviously got a franchise with the Morris.
Yeah.
And it went to Ford's.
Yeah.
I suppose because of the television. They've got the Ford Escorts on the telly, so every force in the country was having Ford Escorts.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mind you, not a lot of people had tellies then, did they?
Well, that's right, but we had the old two radios, one for speaking in, one for listening to, and you used to press the button to speak, and the aerial used to shoot out, so you couldn't have it near your nose or your eyes when you were talking into the radio, otherwise you'd be blind. But you know, the equipment was completely different in those days.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I mean, when Stafford had their own stores, and they employed 2 tailors full time in the stores just for uniform.
Well, we used to have that when I first joined.
And you got kitted out when you first went in. I mean, great coat,
yeah,
down to the shins and up to your neck, cape, cap, helmet, and everything. The old screw handcuffs.
Oh right, yeah.
They had that Hyatt's hadn't gone. The Force hadn't got the ratchet ones then. They've got the old screw type.
Screw type. Oh my god.
And the old wooden truncheon, lead weighted.
Yeah, just a little piece of wood.
Yeah, man, got the George Crown on it. Still got it.
Brilliant.
And I bought. Hyatt's had an outlet shop down in Two Gates Industrial Estate. And when their aircraft ones, the lightweight ratchet ones came out, not the original ratchet ones, but the lightweight ones, I went down and I bought a pair from there.
Did you?
Yeah. And I mean, I've got to say it. Initially, like every PC, you want to pass your exams and you want to get promoted. But after 2 years, I decided I'd met the wife, settled down, and I thought, if you pass your exams, you're going to get promoted. In those days, you had to move at least half the county away.
Sure.
I thought, is it worth having to travel all that at your own expense and the time, and when you want to be with your family? And so I decided, I took the exams twice, and that was about it. Last time I failed by 1 mark. I remember that on all 3 papers.
Well, the sergeant's exams were hard. Mine was. It's no breeze. I had to put the hours in.
Oh yeah. 6
months of my life just disappeared with me studying.
Yeah. I did loads of question and answers from police gazettes and books that you could buy or rent for as how to pass the exam. As I say, the last one, I always remember it. I got 50, 57, 51 and 49, and if that 49 had been 50, I'd have passed all 3 papers. But as I say, I was asked several times, why don't you take the exam, don't you want to get promoted? And I said, well, no, I'm happy where I am. I mean, I even had a superintendent say, well, it's refreshing to hear somebody that's happy doing the job he's doing and wants to carry on doing it.
I'd say that still rings true now because you don't get a lot of career bobbies now. All they want to do is join and go up the ladder.
Yeah.
And they'll tread on anybody to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas somebody to come in and be a career bobby is a really rare thing now.
I had one person that was a newly promoted sergeant who made it his business to try and get me suspended or...
Yeah, I had the same, yeah.
And he went out of his way. And in fairness, in those days you weren't allowed to do another job. I mean, lots of us did.
Yeah.
For backhanders, but I was doing one, and if it hadn't been for a senior officer, a very senior officer, phoning me at home and saying, stay where you are all night, I could probably have been kicked out.
Yeah.
Because in those days, senior officers did that. They knew who they could talk to, they knew what they could say, and it wasn't an us and them.
I think that's the thing that it is now, and that's why it's the way it is.
That's why it's failing a lot. Yeah. It's very much... when I joined, it wasn't a job, it was a vacation.
Exactly.
I joined like a family. I mean, my first interview with the superintendent at Burton when I joined the cadets was, you will use the bar even though you can't drink, and socialise with the people here.
Yeah.
And that was, he said, and that's an instruction from me.
Yeah. No, I totally get that, yeah.
And, as I say, I came to Tamworth when it was the old police station. Very different to what the modern one was 2 years later.
Yeah.
But, it was enjoyable.
Good. No, it's really good to hear, because the social side of things, again, is another problem. I think, which is my own opinion, because when I first joined, albeit a long time after you'd retired, we still had social clubs at the Odd Nick, and you'd go there, you'd have a drink after shift, and mental health wise, it was great because you could bounce off each other. You could have a chat. Yeah. You could talk about what you'd done that day, or...
Well, we had a snooker room.
Yeah, well, you did, yeah.
And we were in the local snooker league, and we had a darts team, and we were in the local darts team.
Did you get time off for that?
No.
You had to do that in your own time?
You did it on your own time. The only thing I ever got time off for was when the bar lady went on holiday for a fortnight, and I ran the bar for a fortnight. And if I was supposed to be on duty, I did it while I was on duty at dinner time or in an evening. But if I wasn't, I did it in my own time. And
how things have changed.
But he taught me how to change the barrels in the cold room and everything, and what to do. And had the keys to the bar. And
well, it's like you say, you were a family though, weren't you?
Yeah. Well, there was even I used to help behind the bar when there was dues on. Yeah. Because there was loads of functions. But I mean, the best darts one was, we threw it down the tavern in the town.
Oh, yeah.
The infamous tavern in the town.
Yeah.
They weren't having problems with the squaddies then, but it was still a biker's pub and a rough, and you only went in if you were invited and known. Yeah. And the police team went in. And one bloke knocked his girlfriend or wife out along the throw, and they just carried on throwing over the top.
Really?
And we were going, can't we move her in case the dart there? No. And we decided then we couldn't have them back at the police station, so we just give them that.
Yeah.
But but we had loads, and in fairness, it made the police more accessible to lots of different people that would normally not associated with us.
I agree with that.
With snooker, we had two teams in two different in the top league and the second league. Excuse me.
Yeah, I agree with that.
To the wife's great dismay, I captained the second league. So even if I wasn't playing, I had to go that thing. But no, and in fairness, wives in those days had to put up with a lot more than what they do now.
I totally agree. Yeah.
Because if you didn't socialise, you were counted as an outcast.
Yeah, you were alienated, weren't you?
Yeah. It's the same with when they came in with the rapid promotion courses and things. We had one come to Tamworth who was a university through and through type person, and he got superb digs. I can't say what. Yeah, it was. I think it was industrial, but he was never going to make a policeman as long as you and I have.
Well, this is it.
And you could tell from them, she's ever so nice, and she was obviously coming on to him. She's ever so nice, she's done this and this for me, and she's done that. And we're saying, yeah, and nothing, and he couldn't get what we were all on about. And eventually he resigned before he finished his probation and made an absolute fortune because he went to Marconi. When Marconi were coming out and they were doing the police radios and the police equipment.
Of course, yeah.
And with his background.
Yeah.
So the police force did him good in that he'd learned that, but he was never going to be a policeman.
See, I think that's the problem now. Again, just my opinion is that people are joining the police straight from university.
Yeah.
With no life skills, no, common sense is probably a hard word, but that's all that policing is, isn't it? It's common sense.
Digressing from the police force, when I was in the police force, I went to Willikin High School as a governor.
Yeah.
And they had me in charge of the disciplinary panel because of... and I stayed on when I finished in the police force.
Yep.
Even with my ill health, they were glad to have me. And I was there about 9 years, and the headmaster had me interviewing. I mean, I appointed up to... No, I did it every year without the headmaster being there on one occasion, because he trusted me, and he had his way of assessing people, and I had mine. We used to sit down afterwards and talk, and he says, we always come out with the same result, even though it's different ways.
Sure.
And I said, yeah, well, I said, to me, teachers are like policemen, as you've just said. They've got no people skills other than what they've learnt at university, which is virtually nil. They don't understand how some people live. They don't understand the pressure some people are under.
Yeah, it's a good point.
All they know is what from a book or a lecturer.
That's a good point, yeah.
And yes, we had some. I mean, I did Willikin High School, I did Stendelf Junior, that was a gem, because me and Stafford Brooks, who used to be a massive coloured social worker to start with, and I convinced him to apply, and he applied for the police force and became a policeman, were sitting on an interview panel, and this young lady decided she'd taken a fancy to him, and it was her way to a job, and made no mistake about doing it during the interview.
Oh my God.
How
times have changed.
Yeah, and then I went to Belgrave as well. I was at Belgrave and Willikin at the same time as a governor. But teachers are the same. You can't teach real life factors.
I agree, yeah.
To people, because it's something you have to learn.
No, I totally agree with you. Or something you have to learn, or something that you've lived through.
Yeah.
Which is a massive thing for me. But going back to when you first started at Tamworth, and your first day out, can you remember anything about any jobs that you went to, or what was your first job?
Oh dear. In those days, you had to do your first 3 months, I think it was, walking the town centre. That was your beat, the town centre. Especially at night. You had to check all of the properties, all the back doors, all the windows.
Really?
Oh yeah. And shops. And if a burglary or something happened and you'd missed it, they'd wake you up. Even if you hadn't gone to bed at 7 in the morning, they'd wake you up at 9 o'clock and want to know when
Why
did
you'd
you
missed
check
it, yeah.
What time did you check it? Was everything all right? And that's what all policemen did in those days. They had to check the town centre.
Go and check in all the handles and...
Handles, yeah, windows.
Really?
Going through, if there was a gate, you went through the gate to check the back doors, yeah.
I suppose that was comforting to the community.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a lot of work, isn't it? But I think...
In some respects it was boring. I mean, occasionally a car, if it was really cold or wet, a car would come round and pick you up for half an hour, but it would only be half an hour. The rest of the time you'd be out walking.
Yeah.
I mean, the best one was, that at that time, I was sitting on the bonnet of a car being driven around the town centre, shining my torch at the doors and the windows as we were going past on both sides of the road. And before CCTV, of course. And all of a sudden, he thought it would be fun to slam the brakes on him, because I went out, went arse over tit, and stuck the back of my head.
You're joking.
No. So it was straight down to the hospital, and that put some stitches in. And so I made sure I didn't take my hat off when I went into the station so nobody could see. But in those days, it was a done thing. I mean, if somebody was scared of the dark, they'd go up onto the roof of a building in the town centre and got the dustbin lid off when he's walking past, and that's what happened, you know. And
yeah, it's more like camaraderie, isn't it? It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was the same as when the nightclubs came out. Everybody was there, and when the nightclubs came out, the cars would come off. They wouldn't be out in the sticks. And
I think that's the thing now, yeah, as well, is, you know, the town centre gets policed heavily, but society still has changed a lot. But when it comes to alcohol, it hasn't, has it?
no, but there's no nightclubs in Tamworth now, is there?
Only one.
Is there?
Only one, yeah.
You know, more than me. I mean, when I was there was about 4.
Oh yeah, as a kid growing up, yeah, there was plenty.
Yeah. So that's where people went, and that's where incidents happened. And,
Of course it is, yeah.
you know, and everybody used to end up having a fight in those days because they were drunk.
Yeah, and it was a proper toe-to-toe punching match, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was no knives, there was no...
Oh no. I mean, the nightclub down by the castle hotel.
Lakins.
I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
But the lady in charge there was no hassle inside the club while she was there. Somebody attacked her husband outside, and she actually picked him up by his scrotum and walked him down the street. And he was in mid-air, and I do not jest. And that was witnessed by at least 2 policemen. There was no problem.
No, of course not.
And
no.
if anybody inside, I mean, somebody inside put somebody through the window, but it was sorted by the time we got there. The bloke that had done it all was stood in a corner waiting for us to put the handcuffs on, because that's how it used to work.
Yeah, of course it is, yeah. Yeah. Used to sort themselves out, didn't they?
Yeah, but now everybody travels that far, and that's why the town centre really died. It was dead in Tamworth before the shops started closing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's a shame really, but as we say, things change over time. So, popping back to the 70s.
Good old 70s.
Yeah. Miners' strike.
Oh yeah, I did the miners' strike.
How was that?
Miners' strike was very lucrative.
Over time, yeah.
Over time, yeah. I mean, we mainly covered Rugeley Power Station.
Okay.
And we'd be bussed out. Actually, I'll tell you the story. I was on a driving course, and they they used to pick you up from it's 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning and take you to do some work on the picket lines before you carried on with your driving course. But yeah, when I was back in the station, we used to start at 3 in the morning,
Really?
2 or 3 in the morning. We'd leave Tamworth and go to Rugeley and sit there playing cards in the back of a riot van in case somebody came, full kit.
Yeah.
And it was the same in the afternoon, of course, and overnight.
Yeah.
How can I put this? When I first joined, there was 2 policewomen in Tamworth, and all they dealt with was family matters and sexual matters. That's all they dealt with. If it happened while you were on, they took it over when they came.
Really?
They dealt with it. But policewomen, special department. General policing, as I say, they took it over if it was any of those matters. You didn't deal with it. So when the miners' strike happened, all of the blokes that had been riot trained went, which meant the station was covered mainly by people that didn't do riot training or policewomen.
Yeah.
And they were doing the work that we should have been doing, type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's when I think policewomen came of age during that
Yeah.
time.
Oh my God, could you imagine that now? That's just it's
Well,
not so much for me, but for people who, you know, are halfway through their police career or whatever, who don't realise that 50 years ago that's exactly how it was, wasn't it?
oh yeah.
And you can't change that fact.
So there was still a police pillbox at Hopwas when I joined.
Really?
Yeah, where you used to have to call in on if that was your beat.
Like a Doctor Who police box.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where you used to be given when you started at 10, you were given a beat
Yeah.
to walk round if you weren't driving,
That's right. Yeah.
and you had to book in. And if you missed your point, they'd come looking for you. You had to do it, so you had to have communication. So obviously, if there was a radio black spot,
Yeah.
I presume that's why they'd left that one.
Got you.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, the IRA, I mean, we used to have to check the oil pipeline from Kingsbury to Manchester.
Yeah.
And the radio mast at Hints, every night we used to have to go up there twice to check that it hadn't been blown up.
Because that was the main part. That was our terrestrial TV aerial, wasn't it?
Yes.
As well as, what else did it do?
It did radio, but at that time, I think it was down to radio at that time, but it used to do television before.
That's
when it
right.
was first put up.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's marvellous how it all sits on one ball bearing.
It's crazy, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well it does, you know, and have to check the pipeline where it came above ground, which was out to Amington.
Yeah.
Have to go down a dark lane and get out of the car and walk down. But you don't think about it, you know.
Nobody does now, and I think that's why it's so interesting talking to him, because you know those things don't happen now because there's so much CCTV.
I don't know whether you know. Have you noticed to put signs in the ground up on Overwoods Road? No digging here, no digging here.
Yeah.
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 I was the community policeman for here, and there was a digger digging, I'm sure it was a footpath or the field up on the bend.
When was this?
Oh, I couldn't tell you. A long time ago.
Many years ago.
Many years ago. And yeah, this digger starts there, and I'm just ambling past, and he says, "What are you doing?" And he said, "I'm digging this trench here and whatnot." And I said, "Have you told the people at the oil terminal?" And he said, "Why would I do that?" I said, "Hang on a minute." So I phoned the station and told them, and obviously they went to do it. And the next thing was a helicopter overhead, because he was going to be digging over the oil pipeline where it went up. It was underground, but nobody knew how deep it was. And so once you start, I think there's only 2 cut-off points between Manchester and Kingsbury. And so all hell broke.
Oh my God.
But if that was just me having a bit of local knowledge to know what goes where,
Of course it is.
would say that, and the police don't get that now because community bobbies, which is what I spent, 80% of my service doing, 75%. They haven't got they haven't got power of arrest or anything, and
The police community support officers, yeah.
And a lot of kids laugh at them anyhow.
They do have to put up with some rubbish, I must admit.
They do.
Yeah.
And when I was there, I mean, the police had a schools officer that went around all the schools, doing nothing else other than going around there.
Mm.
And you accepted it, and there's a policeman you accepted. There's a bloke in the office working Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, but he's still a policeman, so he's getting the same money as you, going out and getting your head kicked in.
Yeah.
But you accept it because somebody has to do that.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's when they decided to civilianise all of these posts. The police lost a lot of communication with outside, because even if you're in the office 9 to 5, you're phoning people and you're talking, so you get a report, and they lost all of that.
Yeah. See, I think I mentioned that in mine, that the intelligence gathering that we used to have has gone.
Yeah.
I really do believe that, because if you're not out talking to people, you're not getting any intelligence, are you?
But that was a PC in an office, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, doing the cards. And if you saw somebody that you knew with somebody else that you knew, you just put it there. All those cards, all that's gone. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
And that's what they need now with all the terrorism and God knows what.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. So what are your thoughts with regards to the introduction of community support officers, because we touched on the subject, and the way that intelligence has gone?
They've lost out big time on intelligence.
Yeah.
I've got nothing against community support officers. They do their job for what they're paid to do.
Yeah.
But I don't think they've got nowhere to put the intelligence that they've got down for other people to access.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of it's gone.
See, my problem with it was, I was a sergeant, and I used to have a team of PCSOs, and I've got to say that the majority of them were better than some of the PCs with the way that they worked, and they would submit intelligence onto a electronic system, but it would just disappear into the ether. Yeah. It wouldn't go where it was supposed to go, and I noticed that a lot. And gone were the days of going into the briefing room and all the faces of people that were wanted. Yeah. Or who were out causing trouble.
See, the collator's office, it was the collator that did all of that, was open.
Yeah.
So if I at 3 in the morning, if I wanted to know something about Fred Bloggs, I could go in and find out who his mates are, where he's living, what he's done time for.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And I mean, one of the best safe blowers in the country used to live down Gauzy Bank Road. Now, I only found that out. He'd retired. He was an old man when I was in my 20s, but it was on the cards, so I could go in and read what he'd done.
Yeah, yeah. And some of it's quite eye-opening, isn't it? When you look at some intelligence, you think, "Oh my God, I didn't realise that." Or I didn't realise they were up to that, he or she, or.
Yeah. I mean, there used to be two big. I'll call them villains for a better word. One lived on the A5, in Winnicott, and one lived in Marloke.
Right.
Now, I didn't know until a lot later, the one in Marloke saved me from taking a beating during Tamworth Carnival and being thrown in the river. And that was because a few months before, his wife had phoned the station, and I happened to be the officer that went to speak to one of his young kids who was going off the rails.
Yeah.
And I just sat down like I always did with them and just explained what would happen and where they would go and what the parents would be like, and the impact if they went to prison or were taken away on the family.
Yeah.
And he never said anything to me. And I only found out a few years after the incident, but he had stopped his mates from doing that to me because they thought it would be fun to, in those days it probably would be. They thought it was going to be fun to put me in the river.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's little things like that that make a difference, isn't it? And make people remember you for the little good deeds you do.
Yeah.
You know, I always believed, and I still believe now, that, you know, you catch a 14-year-old with a joint.
Yeah.
It's the first time you've caught him, and you're like, what are you doing? Sort of thing. I always took them home to their parents. I never arrested them. I never took them to custody. And I said, here's your young lad. He's got a joint. Deal with him.
Yeah.
Because next time I'll have to.
Yeah.
And you know, and the amount of respect you got for policing in that way was, well, you can't measure it. But that's gone. That discretion to me has gone.
I mean, my eldest lad came home from school one day and he said, "You arrested my mate last night." I said, "Yeah, no." And he says, "But you let him have his tea before you took him away." He says, "And then you parked by a fire at the side of the road with him stuck in the back of a police car, handcuffed." I said, "Yeah, but I'm going to sort the fire out." And it's no, you know. But the lad said he was happy that it had been me because otherwise he wouldn't have had his tea.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and,
But that's a massive thing, and they see that as, like, you know.
yeah, well,
I mean,
that's gone.
yeah, oh, it has 100%. I couldn't agree with you more.
I remember a senior police officer, in fact it was a superintendent, saying to me, "They can't, you walk in a beat, even if you do nothing for 8 hours,
Yeah.
they can't say how much crime you've stopped
No, that's right.
or how much you've made other people think before they've done something,
Yeah.
just by being there and talking."
No, exactly, and that's why it's really interesting talking to you, because, as you said, 80% of your career was pounding the beat, wasn't it? It was walking around, it was talking to people.
Yeah.
It was everybody in the community knew who you were. Now, I know that from a growing up where you were policed.
Well, unfortunately for me, the PC that was Glasgow's Bobby before me had a beard like mine. He wasn't as big as me, but, you know, but no. But I did my probation, did my driving, 2 years driving. When you come out of your probation, you have to drive.
Yeah.
And then the opportunity came up to be a community policeman. And I did Runnick at first for a few years. Then I went to Glasgow Heath, which I was there through all of the troubles. And then I did a year's penance at Lichfield, driving a car. That was an eye-opener. When I went to Lichfield, in the first week I was the only PC that was male on the shift.
Right.
The sergeant was a woman, and all the other people were women. And I didn't know Lichfield. I mean, you know Lichfield, but I mean, didn't know the roads, didn't know and there was 3 rowdy youths walking down the road swigging beer from glasses that they'd obviously pinched from the pub.
Yeah.
And so I got out and it was, "Oi, you, what are you doing?" "Oh, sorry, officer." And I'm thinking, I'm on a different planet.
Yeah.
Nobody calls me an officer. Nobody stops. Nobody puts put the glasses into the rubbish bin. And, you know, we'll be quiet and we'll go home. Honest, there'll be no more problems. And I let them go, and off they went. Which probably they respected me for letting them go. But Lichfield was called Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, yeah.
Thanks for listening to part 1 of Steve's stories. Part 2 is out next week. Steve found the experience of reminiscing about his career very helpful for his mental health and well-being. This is extremely crucial for all retired officers. If you would like to share your story and take part in the show, no matter when you did your service, for how long, whatever rank or position, you will find it liberating for your well-being too. Please get in touch. We would love to hear from you. After all, it's good to talk. Alternatively, If you wish to remain anonymous, you could email your true short stories, and they could be added as part of our short stories theme. Please remember to like and subscribe. Thanks for listening.